I don't feel guilty because I know that if I'm not healthy in the aspect of feeling good and filling my cup and being my own person, that I can't pour into the people around me, my kids, everyone. Welcome back to the Sideline Spill. This is Sabrina.
And Monica.
And Heidi.
Travel sports doesn't just take over your weekends. It quietly takes over your relationships too. Your marriage, your friendships, even your relationship with yourself. So the question is, are we building memories or slowly burning out? And I feel like that's something we really don't talk about enough. So I'm curious, when did you first notice that sports were starting to impact your relationships or home life?
I think for me, it takes over kind of slowly because it takes over your time, right? So we practice, we travel, we have tournaments. Next thing you know, you have soccer 4 or 5 days a week. It starts out as a matter of a timing issue, I think.
I think for me, I notice that I'm missing things around me more that's happening, like kids' birthday parties, like our friends' kids' birthday parties. You know, we would miss them because we're at a tournament or we're away that weekend. Even just spending time with my personal family, you know, like my mom and dad or my siblings and stuff, doesn't happen as much. But also their life is also busy with sports too, so they understand. But yeah, it gets hard you have to really be intentional with your time, for sure. What
Carve
about
out
you?
that time and be very intentional. I think for us, it was the excitement first of travel sports. It's like we get to go these places, we're excited about it, and then next thing you know, you're like missing parties, like you said, and events, and scheduling your whole life actually around your sports life because you're trying to make that commitment and show up and teach your kids how to show up. So as much as it was like a slow thing, it was also like one day I woke up and I'm like, wow, like I have a calendar, I have to follow it. I have to have everything set up for the next 6 months, just about.
How do you decide when it's time to skip soccer versus when it's time to skip an event like a bridal shower, baby shower, or birthday party? I will say from my own personal experience, for example, we have a wedding coming up at the end of May, and my first instinct was, we're not going. We've got a tournament. How are we going to go? Mm-hmm. And then, I had to step back and think, we have known the groom since he was literally a baby. He grew up with my brother. He's practically been a part of the family. And Xander has this support system in the team, which is great. And I know that he can get there. Right? So have you guys had a similar experience where you've said no maybe when you shouldn't have, or said yes when you shouldn't have?
I think for me, I kind of look at the event like, is this going to be something that's I'm not going to be able to see again? Is this a first time for something? Is this a first birthday? Is this a wedding? Is this maybe somebody's first baby shower? I think those are the things that I try to prioritize. Soccer is always happening. And as much as I hate missing games, like I hate it, we've talked about it, major FOMO when I'm not there. But also, like you said, Monica, even though my family doesn't usually go to support all the time, I have my sports family that is there to support him and treat him like their own. So I know that he'll be fine if I miss a game here and there. What about you, Sabrina?
We haven't had too many issues, and that's actually a huge surprise in the last 3 years, but we more or less just kind of tag team it. If it's something that is just like a bridal shower, something that I would just go to, then, Credence and I will go to it. Chase can go handle, tournaments or games or whatever, and then vice versa. But we haven't had too many of those issues, but I like what you said. So I'm going to definitely take that advice. If there is something that, a wedding or something like that, and CJ could potentially go with someone else, then amazing, Or, if it's someone very close to us and it's supposed to be like a family thing, then I think at that point it would be a hard decision, but maybe choose for him to miss part of it.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a tournament, more times than not, we'll just jet there after something. But if it's just one game, I don't know. It's hard to miss anything, though. I like being with you guys, and CJ hates missing games. So I hope we don't have to really do too many of those in the future.
That's true. I didn't really think about the part of like Roman missing. He doesn't really miss unless he's hurt.
Yeah, that's a great point. In my mind, I still wasn't thinking that was even an option.
Exactly.
So I got myself out of it, but I didn't get Xander out of it.
Yeah.
Now, granted, in this particular case, I don't think it would make sense to have him skip it. But, you know, I think we do have to weigh that and remember that, you know, they do have many years of playing soccer ahead of them, and we don't want to let the team down, so it needs to be important, but we also don't want to let our families down.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
A common issue that we all have is that we have multiple children who have different sports or have different activities going on. How do you balance that?
I'm going to have to say again, it's all about the tag teaming. It's hopefully having someone in your life that can compensate where you can't be. Because, you know, we can't be in 3 places at once. We can't be at home cleaning or, you know, leaving from our job to go take one to practice in this one. And it's just a constant, like, going in a million different directions. So it's having community and having support. And I know not everyone has that. And I'm thankful to have a level of that. And so far we've been able to make it work. So, until it doesn't, I'm thankful for what I do have. What about you, Heidi?
Well, my girls are older now, but we did go through one season. I remember the spring season. It was terrible. Let me tell you, we had Mariah in volleyball, Belle in basketball, and Roman in soccer. And there's only 2 of us.
Yeah.
I don't tend to ask my family for a whole lot of help unless I really, really have to. And, you know, all of our friends at the time that we were close with had their own stuff going on the weekends, right? So I didn't have a lot of that kind of support either. So it was hard. Again, like Sabrina said, divide and conquer. We tag team. Thankfully, we were able to make it work. Just games not being at the exact same time. But it was rough. It was rough, but I'm glad it only happened for one spring season because I don't think I personally could have continued like that. It was too hard.
I was going to say, I don't know how, because I'm coming from 2 kids in comp at the same location. It was getting a little hairy when Credence was at a whole different location, and there was going to be a lot of like crossing paths. And then it got switched back. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, CJ, you're going to go 45 minutes to practice. I'm just dropping everyone off. I'm going to, you know, whatever. But I can't imagine being in 3 whole different places.
Yeah, it was crazy. I honestly, and I think another blurred moment in my mind because I honestly don't remember how we actually did it. I like I said, I think it was just timing ended up working on our side. But it was hard. It was really hard, and we got burnt out pretty quickly. So I was kind of grateful that one of them stopped. So what about you, Monica?
So for us, we have 2 who are in sports right now. Our oldest is in travel soccer, and then my youngest, Colton, is in rec soccer. And so it can get challenging at times. I don't think it's quite to the level that you 2 ladies have experienced having 3 children. So I'm fortunate. I feel like we're fortunate in that regard. But right now we're in a unique position because Josh assistant coaches the boys travel team. And then he's also head coach for Colton's rec team. So we end up with some conflicts, not a ton. We've been fortunate not to have too many, but, you know, it's an evaluation, I feel like, at times of, like, how do we make sure no one feels like they're left out or they're second best or, And how do we also support both teams? And, you know, I mean, in this particular case, it's been a relatively easy decision when there are a couple conflicts because he's assistant coach on the travel team. We're going to prioritize him head coaching for Colton's team. But, you know, there's been a lot of times where there's been, you know, activities or birthday parties or other things that aren't even travel or soccer games that could come into conflict. And we're just really lucky to have family in town that can help us.
Your entourage?
Our entourage, yes. I have a whole entourage for them listening. I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
They're like the
we love them
community
too.
grandparent.
Yeah.
That's right. We got a total cheering squad, and I'm very lucky. And so I just have to remind myself that we need to ask for help when we need it. We have lots of help available. And, you know, I realize that not everyone has that. So I just am extremely grateful.
I don't know why, but sometimes I feel like it's easier to ask a friend for help than family. No dig on my family whatsoever, but like they just have so much in their own lives. And I know like my mom would be quick to come and help. But I think the reason, and I don't know for sure, is because we're all in the same boat. We all understand what it's like to have travel soccer players and the commitment that we've made and the things that we do on the outside of this. We're also, you know, friends outside of here. So I feel like it's easier for me to ask one of you guys like, hey, you could blah, 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 or whatever over, Mom, could you drive CJ all the way to Sacramento?
Well, also, we're all going in the same direction.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes more sense. It makes sense that we
Yeah.
would feel more comfortable asking our friends that are already going.
I think I've always had a hard time asking for help, and I'm not quite sure why. I feel like my mom was a do-it-all, so I had like this really high expectation for myself when I saw my mom and everything she did for us, and that she was at every game. And so it's like I set this high expectation for myself, given that we have completely different lives, but still thought like, no, I should be able to still do it all. But I work full time. I have another job that I help with, you know, and all these different moving pieces. So I need to get better, even with you girls and like the coach and everything, asking for help if I need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever struggle? Yeah.
I struggle with asking for help. I'm getting better at it, but it's hard because you don't ever want to feel like a burden to somebody. And not that I feel like that when people ask me for help, though. So I don't know why I would feel like that, but yeah, I struggle with that.
Yeah, I would say I'm the same way. Although I think that you guys have probably picked up on this. I like to do all of the things, right? Sometimes I think I just try to do too much, and then it doesn't leave any downtime or any time for me or my family in those quieter moments, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely needed to get better at that. Speaking of not asking for help, I know after work, sports, just life in general, we start to get a little burnt out. So have you ever felt burnt out as a sports parent?
I think there have been times when we have had a lot of conflicts in scheduling, or the boys' schedules aren't aligning on the same day, so then you end up with like every day practicing or every day doing that. I think when it tends to happen though, for me, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but for me, soccer's kind of a fun thing that I look forward to and enjoy. And it doesn't take a lot of like energy from me, right? So it's when you have the go of soccer, and usually there's something else, like work is taking a lot of time in the evenings because there's something going on, or you know, maybe there's other things happening at home that are impacting. So, I mean, that's my experience.
That's what I was going to say, is that burnout is real. I'm not disregarding that at all. But it's weird for me because soccer, I've said this to so many people, like my clients that I have at work, Chase, my family. I look forward to games. I get excited to travel. I get excited to go watch CJ and his friends play. Tournament weekends are like the best. So not necessarily a burnout from that aspect of it, but I think in momhood in general, like ever since I became a mom, it's like you pour everything into everyone else and you want to build them all up. But at the same time, you're kind of like depleting yourself a little bit if you're not good at it. I wasn't good at it. I wasn't good at balancing that from day one until I started to become very aware. I'm like, what fills my cup? Yeah. Certain friendships fill my cup. Making sure I do the craft thing that we do once every 3 months or however long it is. Soccer weekends, those are things that do fill my cup. So as much as there is burnout from the go, the practices and all 3 kids being in sports, there's also an amount of like filling my cup still with going to the games and stuff. So I can relate.
Yeah, I would agree. I also look forward to weekends of soccer with our sports family. I think the only time I have really felt some burnout was when, it's okay. Let me back up because we used to live further away, right, from the soccer park, and we didn't have help bringing Roman. And after work, I did not want to drive over here. It might sound silly, but it was just a pain in the butt. So let me tell you, when practices got canceled, I was excited. I was like, yes, a night off of traveling to the park. It's not even that far, but it felt like so far because I was just so exhausted, right? But really, as a sports parent in general, I look forward to my days on the pitch. Or I guess I'm not really on the pitch, but on the sidelines of the pitch.
I was going to ask you girls, if you can think back prior to sports mom era, like intense sports mom era, I'll rephrase that. What do you miss from your quote unquote old life, like your hobbies and things like that? Is there anything that you miss anymore or that you wish that you were still doing, or did you have hobbies prior or not?
Gosh, what hobby haven't I had?
Coffee maker.
Coffee making. I miss baking. I love to bake. I still do bake quite a bit, but I have not baked near as much in recent time as in the past because there just isn't enough time. Baking tends to be something that takes a few hours, right? Who has a few hours? So, and then just creative things in general. I think for me, like when you talk about hobbies, it tends to be things that are more creative and you kind of get yourself lost in it, right? So looking at hobbies, I would say that's what I think of.
Yeah, same. I feel like I'm not in my creative era right now. I feel like I have like a creative block almost.
Yeah.
I try to come up with things and it just doesn't come to me anymore. But I don't really think that has to do with sports, honestly. I think that's just life in general, work, school, family, all the things, so many different things that you have going through your brain at all times. I think that is what's blocking my creative side. But we'll get there back someday. Let me try that again. We'll get back there someday.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree. I sometimes tell myself, okay, that's just an excuse. You can find time. But then when I really look at the time, there's a lot going on in between work and games and even just being in the car, driving back and forth. And then you're exhausted. So does getting out all the craft supplies sound really invigorating and exciting?
Yeah.
Not always. But I do know that the times where we make the time to do our craft parties, I feel like so happy, except not macrame.
No,
No, I'm kidding. I have one more question. Do you guys ever feel guilty for taking time for yourselves in between already having so much to do with sports and everything else?
Yes. I think some of that's just normal mom guilt, right? I feel like I have been a little bit better recently at taking time to do things like go get a pedicure or go to a movie or hang out with a friend and get a cup of coffee. And, part of that is that, having someone there, Josh in my case, who it will help provide the space for that. So if I need to go do that, he's very supportive about, go take the time. I got the boys, right? But there's still, I think, always a little bit of a mom guilt element behind it because I don't know, I love my boys and I always feel torn because I enjoy spending time with them. They're really sweet boys and, they are our world, right?
I mean, I think we all have a little bit of mom guilt sometimes, right? But I do try to give myself grace to be able to be my own person. I was, a woman before I was a mom and a wife. And I need to allow myself to do things that I enjoy as well to fill my cup.
I have to agree, but also just reflecting on the way I grew up versus the way I am now and seeing how my mom just poured into all of us, into her marriage. We were her best friends. We did everything with her. And I had an example of a great mom. She was amazing. But I didn't have an example of like taking time for myself. Like we were her time. Like she just found herself in us and vice versa. So it's hard to give myself enough grace today to be able to take time for myself without guilt. But it's something that I've been working on for a long time. And I think I've finally gotten to a point to where I don't feel guilty because I know that if I'm not healthy in the aspect of feeling good and filling my cup and being my own person, that I can't pour into the people around me, my kids, everyone. So,
did you do anything intentional to get to the point where you felt like you didn't have to feel guilty?
Yeah. The last few years, I have been on this huge journey of self-growth and unlearning behaviors and unhealthy behaviors and relearning things. And so it's been a really long, good and bad journey. I mean, not everyone likes to realize that they have to unlearn some things. But it in the grand scheme of things, that I have read so many books and just studied on so many things because I just want to be a better version of myself. And I want to be the healthiest version of myself so my children have something to go off of as well. So even though my mom was an exceptional mom, I had to unlearn only being just mom and relearn how to be a healthier version of a mom. Not saying that my mom wasn't healthy. Love you, Mom. But knowing that we all have different needs as individual people, and it took relearning who I was and maybe even like a new version of myself since I've become mom and wife and everything. So today I feel like I'm more comfortable telling myself, yes, go get that pedicure. Yes, go to the craft date. And I don't have anyone in my life telling me I can't go do that or making me feel guilty for it. It was me doing it to myself.
Can I just say that from an outsider perspective, it does feel like you are comfortable in your skin.
Oh, thank you.
And that you are self-aware. And you also are good at finding space for other people.
Oh, thank you. You're making me
Absolutely.
cry.
You're a good example for us to, keep working towards that.
Well,
I think
it's not easy.
it's a continuous
Every day.
evolution, right?
Every day waking up and choosing myself, but choosing just healthier versions. Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I think it's hard because our parents grew up in that world of, the women took care of the family, the men were the providers. And I feel like our moms were not a good example of how to,
I know what you're
let me
saying.
think about it for a second. And then what would you say?
They were not a good example for who we have to be today. We have to have dual incomes and things like that they didn't know would happen to us.
Right. Yeah.
So they got to be mom.
Exactly.
But we're mom and wife and provider because
we have
most
to
places
be. Yeah, we
need-
have to
yeah.
have the 2 income. Yeah. But also, I think just not knowing how to be their own person either.
Yeah.
Like you said, your mom lived for you guys, and I love my children. Don't get me wrong, and I've always tried, even when in my marriage, tried to remember they're gonna leave and do their own thing someday.
Yeah.
Are you going to cry?
And
This time is just temporary. Yeah.
exactly. And like, you know, when they leave, we have to be able to be our own person, but also still have that connection with our spouse too, which is really hard.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought that up because I love my mom. She is an exceptional person. She gave so much, and her and my dad were no longer together. They became friends towards the end of his life.
Yeah.
And I loved seeing that all happen. But I had come to a realization for myself that not all kids stay around. Like her 3 did. And, you know, she doesn't have any friends outside of us. And she says that she's okay with it. And we're all she needs and everything like that. And that could be 100% true. She is her own person. But I learned a lot about myself and that I need more than that.
Yeah.
I love my kids. I would love to go move wherever they do. But it really isn't realistic with 3.
Yeah.
They could all get married and go different places. So I love the aspect of you saying, like, we need to know ourselves and who we are and what we need because they won't be here forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
our spouses won't even be here forever. So
Do you guys ever feel like there's like a ticking clock in the background? Like, we only have, I mean, let's be real. Our kids are going to be 13 this year. We have 5 years with our oldest boy. Well, in my case, I'm sorry. With my oldest, 5
my
years.
oldest, yeah.
That's hard.
It's hard.
And then in the same aspect, your last.
That's even harder.
I would agree. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Heidi.
Yes, I do feel like there is. Some days I don't want to admit it. And then other days I realize my CJ, who made me a mom and is now my oldest, went from telling me that he was going to live with me forever to like his plans and his hopes and his dreams. And I'm never going to be one to be like, no, stay with me.
Right.
You know, because I just recently had told my mom that was one reason why I didn't go away to college because I was like afraid to leave her because I was all she had.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids to feel that way.
Yeah.
So that has been something that I've been very conscious about, not putting my feelings on my kids to make them not make choices that they truly might want to do or their dreams and hopes and all of that stuff. So yes, there is a ticking clock. I feel it a lot, but I try not to fixate on it.
With the ticking clock and kind of understanding that we can't lose ourselves in all the busyness of motherhood, what can we do to prepare ourselves for that?
To not lose ourselves, I think we're doing it. At least for the first time in my journey as a mom, I feel like I have the community that I always wanted to help me not lose myself. Also, I'm a little bit more aware than I was like 5 years ago of what I truly need, not the, oh no, I'm good. I'm good. But I think like us being friends and the community that we have with doing craft stuff and I don't know, I just...
Even this podcast.
Yeah.
Like this is, I feel like along the
Outlet.
way, it's going to be kind of like a healing journey.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's been really fun to get together to do this. Also to share it with other people and have them enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
And love it.
I just hope we continue to be relatable and relevant. And
Momhood is going to be always relevant.
That's very
So
true.
as long as
That's very
included
true.
in it, I
Yeah.
think we're good to go.
yeah.
So do you think your boys see you as more than just mom?
Ooh.
No, not yet. They will. They will because I have the 2 older girls, and now, yes, they see me as mom, but we're also friends.
It's, with CJ being the older one, I feel like all 3 of my kids, Credence, she's 7, and she sometimes will look at me and she'll go, "Is it really hard being a mama?" And I'm like, "Yes, but it's my most favorite thing in this whole entire world." And she goes, and then I'll just be like, "Well, why?" And she's like, "I can tell you're a little stressed, Mom."
Yeah.
And it's like things like that where she's like, she sees me as mom, but then I feel that she sees me sometimes. And I'm like, "You're 7." And then Cross, he has this like deep connection that he gets with people of like, he just asks me these personal questions where I'm like, do these kids like really see me as, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I feel like I do have very emotional kids though. And I try to pull that out of them even more. I'm like, "No, show me your emotions." I was just telling CJ that today. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to feel sad about something or upset. And he'll be like, "Oh, yeah, kind of." And then he'll be like, "Well, what about you, Mom?" And like totally deflect a little bit. So I feel like they do, but not quite at another level, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and I would agree. I think probably my boys are kind of similar. I can get them to open up and really get into those deep conversations, but at their age, I think it tends to be more about what's going on in their lives, right? But I also think they very much feel what's going on in ours. Whether we're stressed because of work, or maybe something's going on at home or school, or whatever that might look like. I think they pick up on it. Like, I've gotten roasted on more than one occasion by my 9-year-old for working too much in the evenings, right? And it's just, back to that mom guilt. Nothing will make you feel worse than having your 9-year-old tell you that they miss you and they want you to stop working, right? And
Pulls at my heartstrings.
Yeah. And sometimes there's seasons, and it can be unavoidable, but it's a great reminder that your kids want you there, and they want you present, and being physically present sometimes isn't enough by itself.
Yeah, I appreciate what you were saying, just about that you're able to pull out conversations for them. I don't know about you guys, but I made a choice to be more open with my kids than my parents were with me. I feel like a lot of things were just hidden to protect. And I feel like I'm just more open. I'm like, yeah, this and this is going on, but without like fear in it. It's just like more of like, this is why I'm stressed. Not just I'm stressed or I'm crying or something, which I feel like causes some fear in kids. And so that's why when I grew up, I had that kind of fear of like, what's going on? Why is she crying? Why is this? Why are they arguing? Whatever. And I've made it such a big effort to be like, hey, this is why this is happening, or like apologies in front of them, or whatever we have to do. Because I don't want to go too far. It's definitely like age level appropriate, but I felt like, because I was so in the dark as a kid. So like you talking about being open and like talking with them and pulling that out, I love that, because I don't feel like it was necessarily taught to me. So that's also what I do with my kids.
I do think you hit on something really important too, which is that like we all make mistakes as parents, right? At least I do. Put my hand up here. Yes, totally. No one's perfect, but being able to apologize to your children and recognize that you could have handled something better, I think it is really important for them to be able to see what it looks like to take accountability also.
100%.
Right? And especially younger kids, I feel like they're really good at letting you know when their feelings are hurt, or when they're upset about something, right? We've talked a lot about making time for ourselves. We've also talked about just being burnout at times. Is there any advice that you would give to our listeners?
Listen to your body, for one. When you feel like you need a break, take it. And as much as you might feel guilty for it, you need it.
I think if you cannot remember the last time you did something for yourself, it's probably time to do something for yourself. Doesn't have to be anything big. Yeah. Doesn't have to be anything big, but you are your own person. And if you want to continue on this, road, whether it's traveling, sports, or rec, whatever, you have to take care of yourself. What would you give to our listeners?
I think, to kind of echo what you guys have said, but if you're in a position where you're not sure what to do, you should probably ask yourself, who would you want to spend time with? That could be a good place to start. Invite someone out to coffee, invite your mom out, invite your friend out, whatever that might look like for you. Or explore what your hobbies are. Like we talked about earlier, what were things that made you feel alive before you had kids and before you had the soccer craze?
Yes.
And I feel like, too, if we have listeners maybe who were young, maybe didn't really know who they were, then just start exploring different things, trying new things, whether it is baking or reading or going on short walks, exercising, something just to get that time in with, like you guys said, with somebody you care about, somebody you enjoy spending time with that does fill your cup. Don't use that time to, clean. Although, that might be therapeutic for some people. So if that's something you...
Then come to my house.
Yeah.
Can we talk just for a second, though, about, also maybe recognize that there are people who fill you up and there are people who drain you. And the person you feel like you should spend time with may not be the person who fills you up. So think carefully about who that person might be.
Because I feel like depending on whether you grew up a certain way maybe or just learn different things, that chaos could feel like comfort, which could be drama, all the things, or just someone that continues to dump on you, and so that could look like comfort initially, but really if you're leaving exhausted and wow, I didn't get to say 2 words or something, then it's probably not, the person you should be spending that time with.
Yeah, and Sabrina, I heard you talk a lot about kind of self-discovery and reading a lot of books and things like that. Do you have any recommendations?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I did just bring a book for Heidi today because we had a little bit of a personal conversation earlier just about life, the 3 of us, and something I've read and listened to so many times is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And I think the first time I read it was a couple years ago, and I just continue to go back to it. And everyone I talk to, I'm like, have you read this? Have you listened to it? I think that was honestly that one. And there is another one, and I cannot remember who it's by. I can picture the name, but it's called You Are a Badass. Sincero or something, Jen Sincero maybe. I could be saying that wrong. But those 2 books were life-changing for me, and every time I read them again or listen to them, I get something new every time.
Okay.
And so for me, I am so attracted to self-help and growth and things like that. But these 2 books I continue to go back to. So those are my recommendations.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'm excited to read it.
I can't wait to hear what you think.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies, for opening up, being raw, real, honest about mom life, a little bit of marriage in there, sports life, what you do to take care of yourself. To our listeners, we have one question. What are you doing right now to take care of you in the middle of all the chaos? We look forward to hearing from all of you, and until next time,
we'll see you on the sidelines.